This might sound bold, maybe even impossible, but let me ask you something. How many times have you stopped yourself from chasing something that you really wanted because there was a little whisper in your head that said, what if I fail? A new career, starting a YouTube channel, launching a new business, asking someone out. But here's what I discovered, and I wish I had known this 20 years earlier, that failure isn't the enemy, but fear of failure is. And once you see fear differently, you can actually take back your power. Now let me take you back. I used to be a perfectionist. I was always terrified of messing up in my 20s. I'd sit on ideas for months, even years, because I thought it wasn't perfect. If it wasn't ready, I would just embarrass myself. And you know what happened? Nothing. Because that's the thing about fear. It doesn't just hold you back, it actually freezes your life. I remember once I had this big opportunity at work to lead a big project that could completely change my career trajectory. And I turned it down because I told myself that I wasn't ready. I was too young to lead such a big team. I was too inexperienced. But really, deep down, it was imposter syndrome. I was just scared to fail in front of everyone. Months later, I ran into the same boss who had offered me the project, and he asked me if I was still interested. This time, I decided to take a chance and to go for it. Not only did I end up loving my new role, it really helped me push myself, it helped me learn new things, and it helped my career tremendously. It also helped me gain a mentor for life. The whole time, I just kept thinking, why didn't I take this up earlier? And that was a profound lesson because it was a turning point for me. Here's the truth about fear. The fear of failure is literally wired into us. Neuroscience shows that failure activates the same parts of the brain as physical pain. That's why it hurts so much when we fail. But here's the fascinating part. Scientists at Stanford found that when people view failure differently as feedback, the brain responds completely differently. Instead of shutting it down completely, it actually lights up areas that are linked to problem solving and learning. In other words, it's not failure that crushes us, it's the meaning that we attach to it. So think about it. If failure means I'm not good enough, then you stop. If failure means I learned something new, then you grow. This shift alone can delete your fear of failure. When you procrastinate on your dream, or you overthink that idea, or you compare yourself, especially on social media, it all comes from the same root. The idea that if I fail, then it proves that I'm not good enough. But here's the truth, you already are enough. Failure doesn't define you, it refines you. So how do we actually live that truth? Let me give you 3 powerful practices that helped me rebuild my own foundation of self-worth. Step 1, celebrate progress, not just outcomes. Let's face it, most of us only celebrate when the big wins come, the promotion, the degree, the weight loss, the milestone subscriber count. But here's the problem, your brain gets used to delaying celebration. You train yourself to only feel good after some massive event, which may or may not happen. In the meantime, you feel stuck, behind, and unworthy. So instead, start celebrating progress and not just results. When I first started my YouTube channel, I used to obsess over views and subscribers. If a video didn't perform well, I thought that I wasn't good enough. But when I shifted my perspective to celebrating the fact that I showed up, I filmed, I published, even if only 50 people watched it, it changed everything. Suddenly, I wasn't failing, I was progressing. I also celebrate the smaller milestones. If you go to my community posts, you'll see that I celebrated when I hit 500 watch hours or even 300 subscribers. It reminds me that every little progress matters and it helps to keep me going. So every time you take a step, acknowledge it. Write it down and celebrate the small wins. Literally say to yourself, I showed up and that counts. You see, science also backs this up. In psychology, this is called progress principle. Humans feel motivated not by the giant leaps, but by the recognition of small wins. And those wins stack and they compound into massive confidence. Step 2, detach identity from outcome. This one is life-changing. Here's the trap. We often say, if this fails, then I am a failure. The result of one action doesn't define your entire identity. Think of athletes. Serena Williams didn't win every match. Michael Jordan missed thousands of shots. Mr. Beast made 455 videos before he gained any real momentum. Did that make them failures? They separated their identity from the outcome. A bad game is not a bad player. So when you face a setback, train yourself to say, this failed, but I am not a failure. You see the difference? One describes an event, whereas the other describes you. I once launched a program that nobody showed up for, not a single person. At first I thought, you know what, that means that I'm not cut out for this. But then I detached my identity from the outcome and I saw things differently. Yes, the launch failed, but I was still learning, growing, and creating. That separation gave me the strength to try again. And this time, the next launch worked. Remember this, outcomes come and go. Wins and losses are temporary, but your identity and your worth are not up for debate. Step 3, build daily evidence. Here's the truth, confidence isn't built in a day, it's built daily. Every single day, you have the chance to give yourself the evidence that you are enough. Not by waiting for external validation, likes, praise, and promotions, but by keeping your promises to yourself. Think of it like building a confidence bank account. Every small action is a deposit. When you keep a word to yourself, or you finish a task that you said you would, or you take a tiny step forward toward your goals, you're making deposits, and over time, your balance grows. And when fear shows up saying you are not good enough, you can look back at your evidence and say, actually, I am.